chances are that you occupy a space of being some kind of caregiver or some kind of helping professional, which means it's helpful for you to be aware of vicarious traumas. Vicarious traumas, in a nutshell, are our ability to empathize with the people around us who are experiencing struggle and to soak it up secondhand on their behalf. Presently, humans have the greatest possibility to experience trauma as compared to any other time in our human history. Some researchers even call it the invisible epidemic. We are influenced constantly by factors including terrorism, political unrest, natural disasters, and media exposure and overexposure. And this exposure, and specifically the overexposure to destructive images, to challenging situations, tends to have a corrosive effect on the human psyche. It actually creates a culture of trauma. Perhaps you can see how this is playing out in your own life and in the collective around you. Anecdotally, I will share that when the Twin Towers fell on September 11th, 2001, I was a junior in high school. I was starting my junior year. And as someone who grew up in a North Jersey suburb, we were evacuated from our high school, and we were positioned in a place where we were close enough to New York City to watch these clouds of black smoke billow into the air and become visible to us, even though we were 10 to 15 to 20 miles away from that part of New York City. And while this was not a huge trauma at the time, what cemented it as a major trauma was the overexposure to the event. While we were only able to watch the smoke rise and have that first initial feeling of, oh no, that deep dread, as we gathered together with our peers out on the high school green, it cemented for us when we then watched those Twin Towers fall on the news roughly every 10 minutes for days and weeks and months thereafter. Now, this isn't to say that peers around me or that other friends, neighbors, even other family members that are more removed didn't have more intense experience of this trauma or lose people that were very close to them. My personal experience was such that my trauma response was ingrained as a result of overexposure. Perhaps you can see where this is either played out in your life, maybe in relation to a family member or a child in your family, or even with your desire to help a client. Take a moment to stew on that and check out the comments section, maybe even including your own story if you feel so compelled. Way back in 1993, Kessler and a group of researchers determined that 20.4% of women and 8.2% of men had experienced PTSD. That was quite some time ago, just about 30 years. What do you think the statistical data is right now? Take a moment to do a Google search. It is exponentially higher.